who the Warriors are for this week.
You got to stick to your side and fight for your side.
Win makes you happy? Loss makes you sad.
Execute, play hard, smack them in the face, and let's see what happens.
WCBI's Egg Bowl Special is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center, Bill Cunningham, attorney at law, Evans Plumbing and AC, and Southern Colonel Homes Meridian.
Welcome into our 2016 Egg Bowl Special, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tom Eble. Here we are. The college football season is coming to a close, and for Mississippi State and Ole Miss, a year's worth of bragging rights are on the line. There's no question both teams have had disappointing seasons, but with a win on Saturday, there'll be plenty of reasons to smile for one group of fans. The 113th edition of the Egg Bowl, here is the shakedown, the history. Series has been going on since 1901. Ole Miss leads the series 63-43-6. As you can see, Dan Mullen with a 4-3 record and Hugh Freeze with a 3-1 record. Both of them will look to make it improve on that record coming up on Saturday. This is also the first time since 2002 and 2004 Ole Miss will look to take a 3-game win streak in the Egg Bowl rivalry. And speaking of Ole Miss, for the Ole Miss Rebels, getting that third straight Egg Bowl win means bowl eligibility. With a record of 5-6 on the season, getting win number 6 would not only give their talented young group of guys extra experience, but will also give the senior class an extra game as a Rebel. You don't have to remind head coach Hugh Freeze and some of the seniors just how important this game is in keeping their season alive.
They've got to understand the magnitude of this game, our young kids, for the value of those seniors and our program getting the extra practices and getting to a bowl game. So it's vital that they understand that. We've got to find out who the Warriors are for this week, and that's who you've got to play and get ready to go.
I met with the young guys on Monday and told those guys how important this game really is, and I told them as they walking through the Grove on Saturday, I mean, the fans, they'll tell them also, I mean, they don't care how many games we lose, but as long as we win this Egg Bowl, I mean, it really means a lot to those guys. And our coaching staff, it's just let the guys know who get the bragging right.
I'm from Mississippi, and I chose this school for a reason. And losing to the old guy, I mean, that 365 days long, and I want to continue keeping that trophy here like it's always been since I've been here.
And we know how big this game is, and we feel personally that it's our responsibility as seniors to go out the right way and help this team rise and get bowl eligible.
One of those young guys that's going to have to step up in a big way, may be the most important to the game itself. 3 weeks ago, freshman quarterback Shea Patterson was still a redshirt, waiting to take over in 2017. But due to Chad Kelly's injury and the Rebels still fighting for bowl berth, the freshman now finds himself starting in the most important game to date. Patterson is looking forward to being under center for the Rebels and says his preparation is what gives him confidence moving forward.
It's definitely awesome. I wasn't expecting to play until next year, but I just prepared all year like I was, the starter. Whether you're the second string, third string, you just got to prepare all year like you're the starter. And I believe what you do in the dark is going to either reward you or expose you, when you finally get that chance. So, I'm just glad I got to be around, a great group of guys that helped me through it and have a huge support staff and a lot of athletes making plays for me.
Speaking of impact freshmen, this is a big game for Starkville's own freshman wide receiver A.J. Brown. The former Yellow Jacket chose the Rebels over the Bulldogs on signing day and has made big plays for Ole Miss all season. While he wasn't made available to the media, fellow freshman Van Jefferson is expecting big things from number 1 on Saturday.
AJ's going to go out there and make some big plays, I already know. So, well, the whole thing that happened in recruitment, so you already know that, it's a big time week for him.
To the Mississippi State Bulldogs now. While there is still a chance for the Bulldogs to go bowling with a win, it's a little bit confusing. State is playing the role of party crashers in Oxford this season. With a win on Saturday, the Bulldogs would bring Ole Miss into the same cartwheels and somersaults that would be needed to get themselves into a bowl game. Head coach Dan Mullen says to win the rivalry game is important for everyone in Bulldog Nation, especially the team's seniors.
Anytime you have rivalry games, they're huge. Just for everybody, you know, especially when you have an in-state rivalry game. A lot of bragging rights for all the fans, and people take a lot of pride in winning the game and having that the bragging rights for that year. These young men that have put so much into the program for their last experience to walk off the field with a win is a pretty special memory. You know, for the guys that are, for all of us still here, you know, to spend the, you know, to be coming off a win in your last game, going into the next season, is just a great feeling for that time span, because you don't get it. You know, tough thing is, you know, you have a tough loss like we did on Saturday. You get to get back to work on Sunday, and you get to go try to change it around, you know, 7 days later. After this game, you don't get to play for quite a long time again, so you don't want to be stuck with that feeling in your stomach.
Much like Ole Miss, the Bulldogs seniors are looking to go out with a bang. The 2016 senior class will go down as a successful group, and a win in the Egg Bowl would be icing on the cake. There's no need for a reminder how big a game this is for Mississippi State.
I know my freshman year, there was a lot of you know, trash talking going on, and just that's when I really kind of saw how big this rivalry was, and shoot, we need to win.
It's important though, like it's a rivalry you grow up knowing in Mississippi, and once you choose a side, you know, you have to stick to your side and fight for your side. So that's why it's so important though to get the W this weekend.
Coming up after the break, Robbie Donahoe sits down with a former Bulldog QB to talk Saturday's game when the 2016 Egg Bowl Special returns.
Welcome back into our 2016 Egg Bowl Special here on WCBI. Now we turn our attention to Mississippi State. Bulldogs go into the contest with Ole Miss, looking to play a bit of a spoiler, but also they have a backdoor way of getting into a bowl game. It's very confusing. We're not going to explain it. We just want to hear the thoughts of a man who did play for the Bulldogs way back when. That's Tyson Lee, who is to my left right here. He played for Mississippi State from 2008 to 2009. Tyson, welcome. How are you feeling about the game on Saturday?
Excited. You know, Egg Bowl is always a big week.
That's right.
You know, record or not, whether you're going to a bowl, playing for a bowl, that usually doesn't matter. When it comes to Egg Bowl week, it's time to play.
And these guys are going to be ready to roll on Saturday up in Oxford. And remember, 2:30 p.m. kick time. You can watch the game on the SEC Network. Before we talk about the game, I want to show you some of your best clips and plays from when you played for Mississippi State. 08 and 09, you actually had two different head coaches during your time there. Obviously, this is the 09 game, or the 09 time with Dan Mullen. I'm going to show you your first run here against Middle Tennessee, where you ran right up the middle for a 50-yard touchdown, or 40-yard touchdown, I believe. But what are some of what was the biggest change going from Kroon to Mullen that your junior year to senior year?
You know, I think expectations. You know, I think Coach Mullen came in. He had developed quarterbacks. He had been successful at his previous places. And so I think when he came in, he created a culture of winning. And not only did he create a culture of winning, but he had an expectation for you to win football games. Not only that, I think his style of offense was an offensive quarterback's dream. Right. You know, throw the ball a lot, move the ball downfield, kind of that explosive 2-minute type offense. And I think a lot of guys, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, really love that side of football.
We've seen Nick Fitzgerald really come into his own over these last few weeks as quarterback on this offense. Obviously, we saw Dak Prescott do that as well. But when you look back at your time at Mississippi State playing in the Egg Bowl, you went 1-1. 2008 game got away from you all a little bit, and then the 2009 you come in as an underdog and you stun Ole Miss with that great win in Starkville and Dan Mullen's first win, our first game Egg Bowl. What do you remember from that 09 game the most that really just stands out from your time?
You know, I think just the way guys stepped up and played. You know, that game, Chris Relf came in and played quarterback after me, and honestly, he and Anthony Dixon played a lot better. And I think I started the game, Relf came in, and I got to come in at the end of the game. But the way Relf really ran the offense, it helped us win the football game. You know, you go back, you look at the tape, you look at the production, and it came from the way he came in and performed. But I think overall, just looking back at that game and thinking about that game, it was guys just came in ready to play. You know, you want to finish on a winning note. It's your senior day.
Right.
You know, you don't get a chance to play at Davis Wade again. And that was Coach Mullen's message. Hey, make sure you leave it on the field. When 60 minutes is up, be sure that when you go home and when you say you've hung your cleats up, you can say you gave it everything you had. And I think we could say that.
When you play that Egg Bowl game, obviously there's different emotions, and it's a completely different game from any other game that you play. But you know, put yourself back in that 09 game again. Yeah. What goes through your head when you're playing arguably the biggest game of your career?
You know, the Egg Bowl is so interesting because so much is on the line. You know, you think about your family, your friends, local businesses, your community. You know, whoever wins that game, they get bragging rights for a year.
Right.
And so, you know, the fans see it, family sees it. You know, with it being Thanksgiving, people talk about it all week.
Right.
And so I think that game has a unique feel to it just because of what it leads to for the next 365 days. You win that football game, well, for the next year or so, you're allowed to kind of lead the conversation. And so I think because of that, it really makes that game a little bit more emotional. I think it puts a little bit more weight on the game, and it makes players, coaches, fans, everybody watching be a little bit more in tune.
I know you're excited about the game going into Saturday. We always ask our guests for predictions.
Yeah.
So how do you think the game is going to play out on Saturday?
You know, I think for Mississippi State, we got to move the ball on offense. You know, Nick Fitzgerald's done a great job. I think defensively, we just got to stop Shea Patterson. You know, Coach Freeze has done a great job at Ole Miss, and Shea Patterson seems to be a great athlete at the quarterback position. So I think defensively, our biggest thing is going to be limit the big plays. You know, I know Ole Miss has had a lot of injuries, and so that'll play into our favor. But I also think with Shea Patterson at quarterback and his playmaking ability defensively, we've got to make sure that we stop the big plays.
You going to give me a scoreline? Who's going to win?
We're going to win, but
it's okay.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, when it comes to scoring predictions, I'm terrible at that. So I usually just say, hey, we're going to win this game, and we'll see what the score is at the end.
Playing like a true Bulldog, Tyson Lee right there. Tyson, we appreciate the time.
Roger,
enjoy the game on Saturday. We will have more with our 2016 Egg Bowl special right after this.
Welcome back to the 2016 Egg Bowl special. You just heard from Tyson Lee from the Mississippi State side. Now it's time to hear the Ole Miss perspective on the game. You may recognize this former Ole Miss quarterback from Friday nights as the voice of Tupelo football. I caught up with John Darnell earlier this week in Oxford, and here's what he's thinking about the upcoming game. We're here right in front of Vaught Hemingway Stadium, and I'm joined now by former Ole Miss quarterback John Darnell. John, we appreciate the time for spending with us.
I'm glad to be here.
So, you yourself, we'll go into talking about your time at Ole Miss and your Egg Bowl experiences. You went 3-1 as a Rebel during the Egg Bowl. You know, which one? You started in '87 and '89.
Yeah.
Which one was? What was your most favorite Egg Bowl experience?
They were all good. I mean, it's a great game to play in. You know, growing up here in Mississippi and you know, knowing about the rivalry, it's just a fun game to play. And you're playing against a lot of guys you know you played against in high school and played with in all-star games. And but I guess the last one, my senior year, was a good one. You always want to go out winning against Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl, and we were able to do that in 1989. It was just a good experience.
What are the keys, you think, for this Ole Miss team against Mississippi State? Obviously, if you talk to both fan bases, it's going to be, this is a disappointing year for both teams.
Sure.
So what do you think, what are the keys for Ole Miss to, keep the Egg Bowl here for a third straight year?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think about their offense and their quarterback being able to run the ball like they have. And Ole Miss has struggled to stop the run this year. And so I think we're going to have to tackle better, have to play better against the run Saturday to stop Mississippi State. And then offensively, just going to have to, you've had so many injuries on that side and banged up, it looks like, coming into the week. And so try to put some consistent drives together and finish and score enough points. And I think defensively, you really got to step up and tackle and stop this quarterback that's so good at running the football. And, offensively, just play more consistent, catch the ball better than we did Saturday night, throw the ball better and protect and just try to keep it all together and be consistent, have consistent drives.
Speaking of injuries, one of the biggest ones, so especially on the offensive side of the ball, Chad Kelly. His replacement, Shea Patterson, highly touted freshman. What do you think about Shea after seeing him for the past 2 games, and what are the keys for him moving forward?
Very talented. I mean, very talented guy. I think he's going to be very good before it's over. I mean, I think he's young, and just like I can't imagine my first start being like at Texas A&M and then going on the road to play against Vanderbilt. So it's good for him to have 2 games under his belt and to come home and play the final game of the season, hopefully win this one and go on to a bowl. But I thought he handles himself really well. To be a freshman, to go in under these circumstances and with all the injuries and adversity this year and the pressure, I think he's done really well, and I expect him to do well Saturday.
For this Egg Bowl, there's a ton of seniors on this team, that have really helped build this program under Coach Freeze. You got the Evan Ingrams, Tony Connor, guys like that. What do you think from someone who was a senior going into your last Egg Bowl? What would a win mean for those guys?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's your last home game, and like I said, it's don't underestimate the last game here against your rival team, and winning that to go out of here Saturday to have a win for those seniors is huge. And you've been through a lot together. You've been successful, played in the Sugar Bowl last year, and you want to try to end it on a bowl game this year. So to do that, you got to beat Mississippi State, and I think to get that win would be huge for a season that's been up and down and a lot of adversity. I think to get 6 wins out of what they've been through this year, I think would be a successful season.
So last question, all bias aside, what are you thinking? Who do you think's got the edge on Saturday? And if you had to pick a score, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Rebels since it's here, and obviously being an Ole Miss Rebel, I like our chances at home, and I think the defense is going to step up to the challenge, and the offense is going to have a good game. So I'm thinking Rebels by 10.
Rebels by 10?
Rebels by 10.
You heard it here, Rebels fans. Former quarterback picking the Rebels.
Got to.
Thank you so much for your time,
You're welcome.
and we really do appreciate you coming out. So you heard it from here. We're here from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, where this game will be played coming up on Saturday. He's got the Rebs. Do you? We'll have more coming up on Saturday. Coming up next, we take a look back at some of the best plays from both teams we caught on camera. Check out the highlights when the 2016 Egg Bowl Special returns. Welcome back into WCBI's Egg Bowl Special. The best way to top off the 2016 Special is to take a look back on some of the best plays for both the Rebels and the Bulldogs in this college football season. We'll start with Ole Miss. Of course, we can't forget this place. Marquise Haynes blows up Alabama's Jalen Hurts. John Youngblood with the scoop and score. Big play by both of those guys. We're going to go to the same game. Here's late in that game after the onside kick. Chad Kelly's going to launch it to none other than A.J. Brown. Incredible catch for the touchdown. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Ole Miss to beat Alabama. That was a fantastic game. More Chad Kelly here. This is what made Chad so good at Ole Miss. Evades the tackler, launches a deep ball to DeMarcus Lodge, draped by defenders, touchdown anyway. Heck of a throw by Chad. They're going to miss him on Saturday. But now welcome the new guy. Here's Shea Patterson in his first game as a Rebel with shades of Johnny Manziel in College Station. Pass to Demarie Stringfellow for the TD. Welcome, Shea Patterson. And last but not least, Eupora's own Derek Jones with the pick 6 against Georgia. He's going to take it all the way to the house here. Big year by former Eupora guy showing out for the Rebels. Now to Mississippi State. Here's Nick Fitzgerald in the game of the year for the Bulldogs against A&M at home. Fitzgerald takes it 70 yards to the house. We're definitely going to have more from this game in a bit. More from Fitzgerald. This guy was a highlight machine all day. Check out this 500 dead or alive ball to Donald Gray, who had a heck of a game against Samford. 2 defenders, no worries. Donald's got this. Brings it in for 6. That'd be his 3rd touchdown of the game. We're going to go to the same game now. Now the defense getting in on the action. DeAndre Ward's going to get the tip drill. Pick 6 here. Look at the moves by the linebacker. Looking like he played high school or running back in high school with those moves. Wow, big pick 6 by DeAndre Ward there. Watch out for that concrete now. But last but not least, same game upset against A&M this year. Nick Fitzgerald to Fred Ross. He made a living with those catches from Mississippi State. All through his career there, he'll look to make plays like that coming up on Saturday. We'll wrap up the Egg Bowl. We're going to find out who's going to win some tickets to the Egg Bowl coming up after the break. Congratulations to Michelle Pirung in Starkville on winning tickets to the Egg Bowl by playing WCBI Egg Bowl Trivia Challenge. Viewers can still go to our website, WCBI.com, to test their knowledge of the rivalry game. That'll do it for the 2016 Egg Bowl special. We'll have all the highlights and reaction from Saturday's game coming up at 6, 9, and 10 tomorrow on WCBI. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow.